Good morning. Prophecy-related news is becoming more frequent, so I'm introducing a new format, a news rundown. In these videos, I'll review current events and explain how they might connect to Bible prophecy, especially in relation to the topics covered in my overview videos. I'll still make overview videos from time to time, but these news rundowns will be more frequent and slightly less polished. Let me know your thoughts. If you like this format, I'll continue making more. If you prefer just the occasional overview video, I'd love to hear that too. For now, I plan to do both. On Thursday, President Donald Trump stated that he would not protect NATO allies that fail to spend enough on their own defense. This echoed similar statements he made during his campaign and came just as European leaders concluded an emergency war summit on Ukraine and regional defense. Trump's remarks, made in response to questions from two journalists at the White House, coincided with an NBC News report suggesting he is considering restructuring NATO. Under this potential plan, members who fail to meet certain defense spending thresholds would not be protected under Article 5. On Friday, the UK's Telegraph reported that Trump is weighing the possibility of relocating 35,000 US troops stationed in Germany to Hungary. This move reinforces the idea that Trump is deprioritizing Western Europe's defense, given that these nations contribute less of their GDP to military spending and instead rely heavily on US protection. If the US were to withdraw protection from Western European nations, they might be forced to form their own defensive alliance. This raises the possibility of reviving the Western European Union, WEU, a 10-nation military alliance that existed from 1995 to 2011. A potential revival of the 10-nation WEU is significant in the realm of Bible prophecy. Many theologians have long awaited the emergence of a 10-nation confederacy in the territory once controlled by the Roman Empire. This aligns with prophecies in Daniel 2 and 7, which anticipate the revival of the Roman Empire in the last days. Meanwhile, the European Union has announced plans to mobilize up to 800 billion euros to boost defense spending across Europe. This package includes financial incentives for individual nations to increase their contributions, as well as direct EU funding for military initiatives, including support for Ukraine against Russian aggression. Historically, the EU has spent very little on weapons, as its treaties prohibit direct military expenditures from the EU budget. However, the EU has circumvented this restriction by financing military research and innovation. Despite this workaround, its defense research fund has only amounted to 1.5 billion euros per year, a relatively small sum. Now, the EU is taking a more aggressive approach with ReArm, a program designed to incentivize member nations to buy European-made weapons. This mirrors the emergency COVID-19 relief fund the EU implemented during the pandemic. Theologians have long anticipated Europe's emergence as a global military force in the end times. Based on Daniel 2 and 7, many believe the revived Roman Empire will become militarily dominant. The final ruler of this empire, the Antichrist, will be deeply focused on military power, as indicated in Daniel 11:38. But instead he will honor a God of fortresses, a God whom his fathers did not know. He will honor him with gold, silver, precious stones, and treasures. Dr. Reynold Showers, in his 1982 commentary on Daniel, describes this ruler as one who will pour vast sums of wealth into building his military machine and waging war. This suggests that Europe will no longer rely on others for protection, but will instead rise as a military superpower. Recent developments mark a significant shift in that direction. Despite years of wake-up calls for Europe to strengthen its defense, most have gone unheeded. However, following recent comments from senior US officials stating that Europe's security is no longer Washington's top priority, European leaders have responded with emergency defense summits. Just before the EU's war summit, French President Emmanuel Macron proposed expanding France's nuclear protection to cover all of Europe. This comes amid growing fears that the US may no longer defend Western Europe in the event of a Russian attack. Macron emphasized that Russia poses a direct threat not just to France, but to all of Europe. His statements align with the position of Germany's incoming chancellor, who has also expressed openness to sharing nuclear protection with France and potentially the United Kingdom. Macron insists that France's nuclear arsenal will always remain under French control. However, discussions of nuclear sharing at the European level raise questions about joint nuclear command and decision-making. The Bible predicts that the Antichrist and his 10 European allies will launch an attack on a coastal economic superpower known as Babylon the Great. Since this city is destroyed by fire in one day, it suggests that the Antichrist will control Europe's nuclear weapons. I hope you found this news rundown insightful. Let me know what you think of this format. As I mentioned earlier, I'll still produce overview videos from time to time. However, given the fast pace of current events, these news analyses allow for quicker updates. Come, Lord Jesus. See you next time.